Okay, y'all. So we know that Crunchy Black has been snitching for the last couple years. He's been involved in a couple of things that have been going on where he has known to tell. So not only did he snitch on Straight Drop and the dudes who ran out the back, but he snitched actually last year on Pooh Shiesty. And everybody know with the Pooh Shiesty situation that Pooh Shiesty's sitting down for a long time right now. And he's been sitting down for like the last almost year, 6 to 6 months. And you know, like what kind of stuff was it that Crunchy Black snitched, and did it actually affect how much time Pooh Shiesty got? Because if what Crunchy Black said actually added more time on the Pooh Shiesty's case and his whole thing, then that's pretty messed up, and then that would make Crunchy Black a bona fide snitch. And you know, I don't know why Crunchy Black was even speaking on any of that street stuff. Like, he's supposed to be from Memphis, and he's supposed to know what the game is about, and it's to be sold, not to be told. So why is he telling on everybody? And it just don't make no sense, you know. And it's now I got to thinking about it, and I'm like, oh, they still got that $15,000 reward on it. So could Crunchy Black have been trying to cash in on a $15,000 reward, and maybe he's already connected because he knows the people, they're his relatives that were involved and ran out the back door and all that stuff, right? So because he knows them like that, he actually has the information ready, and he can get an easy 15K. So he probably already got that 15K, and Crunchy Black just took it out of his account. And you know, he's used to that because he snitched multiple times. So how he might be making a living off of snitching, we don't really know, but he's telling too much. And just from the facts in itself, he said he snitched on Pooh Shiesty about some things. You can go back and look at the videos from last year. You can look at all of his interviews. Dirty Glove Bastard, he was on Vlad, he was on everything. And on Vlad, he was snitching on Pooh Shiesty. And so that just goes to show, like, why would he be talking about these street guys like that, unless he's trying to come up on the reward, or unless he's secretly working for somebody. So it's pretty weird to see rappers be speaking on these things, because if you look at what Project Pat said he's not going to speak on anything, because you know how the internet is these days, you know how the laws is, and you don't want to get tied in on something that shouldn't even be, you know, anything in your lane. Like, you should be staying out of it. Don't even speak on it. Don't even try to snitch on nobody. I know it's an easy 15K for Crunchy Black, but you know, that's wrong to try to come out and speak so much on that. But look at it again on the bright side, though. Did he snitch and tell the right things, or is he trying to help his little nephews that was in the back, that ran out the back store? So you don't know, and they're calling him for a reason to get bonded out. But basically, with the whole Pooh Shiesty situation, somebody tell me if he got more time after that, because I think he did get more time. I think they was talking about giving him like 25 to life or something, but it's pretty interesting. And now that reward money is still out, so it was 15K up for grabs. And so I could definitely see why Crunchy Black would tell. Now, another thing is Crunchy Black still with 3-6 Mafia and stuff? Because what he used to be a part of, and now he's snitching, it seems like he's not getting that bread no more from the royalties on 3-6 and all that stuff. So what is he really doing? Is Crunchy Black doing all these interviews to get the money, and maybe that's why he's telling and stuff? We don't really know. And are the people there really his nephews or his relatives is interesting, because if they are, then did he know about it, that it was going to happen beforehand? Did Crunchy Black know that the Dolph situation was going to happen because his nephew, his relatives were going to be in that, actually doing some sort of action in that whole scheme of things? So that's one thing you got to ask yourself. And another thing you got to ask yourself is that, you know, like, how did they must have had called his number from the cell in order for them to tell him that they got locked up and ask him to bond him out. So they must have premeditated knew they were going to do the hit and that they can always call Crunchy Black to get him out. And maybe they told Crunchy Black ahead of time that, hey, we're about to be doing this hit at Makita's and his Dolph and all this, and we got to call you to get us out once if we end up getting booked for it, you know? And then he knew what to say when them interviews came before we all figured out the connections that it was his family members there, right? So he kind of was one step ahead. Crunchy Black was kind of trying to be one step ahead and come out and say that they had ties and they were his relatives before we come out and find out. Because if we find out and call him out for it, it's more suspicious than him coming out and admitting to it without having anybody like have to question him about that. Yep. So that's an interesting point. And it's just weird that he'd be talking so much. Like, what else does he know? Can somebody maybe sit down Crunchy Black and investigate and ask him, hey, what all do you know about the Dolph case? We need Crunchy Black to testify as a person that's a reference of some of the suspects and say, hey, how well did you know these suspects? How well did you know the dudes that ran out the back of Makita's? Oh, did you know them for a few years? Did you ever give them money? Have you been helping them financially? Do they call you for rent and anything like that? So they got to ask those questions so they can figure out if there's a money tie between Crunchy Black and the dudes that ran out the back of Makita's. And if there is a money tie between them, then that's where you could set up your RICO case and put in Crunchy Black with Yo Gotti and CMG, because they might have been giving payments to the people who did the hit.